Hey assholes, Pat Ryarchy here, also known as the Patriarchy. So, mansplaining. We're back to that one. Because for some reason, feminists are obsessed with this concept of mansplaining. You know when your girlfriend or a female friend of yours is nagging you and being bitchy or something, or trying to be a condescending cunt, and you're like, she's being naggy. We kind of dropped that term nagging. We kind of don't use it anymore, I notice. And men don't really complain about it like they used to. It used to be the stereotype on like sitcoms, like, oh, my wife's always trying to explain shit to me, the Everybody Loves Raymond. But for some reason, feminists are obsessed with this mansplaining thing. Every time a man tries to tell them something, even if it's something they already know, and I know that could be annoying, it happens to me all the time with men and women, they put it in this category, it falls under this category for them of sexism, because the man only does this to the women. He's mansplaining to them because he thinks as a woman they don't know any better. Now, to be fair here, I'm sure this does happen. Like, I'm sure some guys think their girlfriends don't know anything about cars or sports, and they condescendingly try to tell them about those things. I understand that, but I think that's more a character trait of certain people, and not something that's men-based versus women. Because I think it's only really there if you're a feminist looking for it. Like, oh god, he just mansplained to me. Here's an article from HuffPo, where they took a bunch of, like, horror stories on Twitter about mansplaining. Like, all these women who got triggered. Writer and co-host of BuzzFeed's podcast, Another Round. Oh, if you work for BuzzFeed, then, I'm sure you're really, really talented. Tracy Clayton tweeted on Tuesday morning about a Lyft car driver who mansplained to her what an airport terminal was. How's he mansplaining if he's trying to tell you what an airport terminal was? What does that got to do with being a woman? Like, he would probably say the same thing to me. The concept of mansplaining was first articulated by author Rebecca Solnit in 2008, and women recognized the phenomenon immediately. Yeah, once she threw it out there, women started projecting it like crazy. I know, it's great. Because who among us hasn't had a man patronizingly explain something that we already understand? Who hasn't had that happen ever anywhere? I've had that happen my whole life. Did your parents not do this when you were a kid? Did you ever not get yelled at as a teenager and have your parents explain something to you that you clearly already fucking knew? That's happened to me my whole life. It's not a mansplaining thing. That's the problem. Feminists take issues in the real world that we know exist that really aren't that big of a deal. They're just asshole things. They're like, oh, this stuff that's annoying, and then they'll exaggerate it, like manspreading. Like, oh, guys take up a bit more space than women on buses and stuff and on benches because they're a little bigger and they have balls and stuff, so they don't always close their legs together. And then they're like, manspreading. Men just do that because they're sexist. It's like that. You can't just, make up these buzzwords and then expect everyone to jump on the bandwagon. You know why mansplaining hasn't caught on outside of feminist circles? It's stupid. It resonated so deeply that the term was eventually added to Oxford's online dictionary and even appeared on Jeopardy. Well, if it was on Jeopardy, I guess it's official. So when Clayton asked women who follow her to share their most infuriating mansplaining stories, the anecdote started rolling in. Women, what's the most infuriating thing you have had mansplained to you? These women vag-splaining this whole thing, this concept to me in this article and these tweets is hurting my feelings. I'm triggered right now. And I'm not even at the tweets yet. Lizzie O'Leary. Vocal gravitas, so my voice matches the content in a letter about my show, which I write, host, and created. Wow, somebody was giving you advice on your show. Once a man tried to explain an article to me, an article I wrote. Maybe you didn't understand the article you wrote. I could say very safely that a lot of the articles that I have covered on this account, on this channel, have been written in a way where the author, what they're writing makes no sense. They contradict themselves and they make no sense. And you're trying to find the meaning in this outside of some kind of virtue signaling, race baiting, rhetoric. This is always that thing. It's always some cultural Marxist bullshit against you. And you're always kind of reading it like, well, did you actually write an article here, or are you just laying out your feelings without really structuring it into kind of thing? I mean, and this is, and these are the kind of people that write for HuffPo and stuff like that. It's like, are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, I'm sorry somebody tried to explain an article to you. Big fucking deal, though. I'm not sure how that's that. That's how the whole thing started. Some woman was having her book explained to her by a guy, and he didn't know she wrote it. And immediately that became a sexist thing because he was explaining a book to a woman he didn't know wrote it. Just sounds like a accident, really. Coincidence? How to correctly insert a tampon. No, this person was not a doctor. That one's just funny. I don't know what to tell you. That would just make me laugh. I once had a friend mansplain to my roommate how to correctly pronounce her own name because he thought she was doing it wrong. Once again, that has nothing to do with women or men. That's literally nothing to do with the female experience. People do that kind of stuff all the time. They try to be like, wait, why do you spell your name that way? That's a weird way to spell your name. They just take random things like, see, mansplaining. It's like, how's that mansplaining? I was told there was no such thing as accidentally pregnancy because birth control exists. I mean, I actually think accidental pregnancy is very overhyped. I think it exists for sure, but I can tell you just anecdotally in my life, half a dozen women that have accidentally got pregnant, I know, didn't accidentally get pregnant. They quit taking their birth control or did something to lie to get pregnant because they wanted to keep the guy they were having sex with. Or they wanted a baby, and I've seen this countless times, and you read stories about it. So I'm not saying accidental pregnancies don't happen. However, we know birth control and condoms are highly effective, and it seems to me the people who get pregnant a lot don't seem very responsible with that stuff. I'm not saying it can happen, but I actually think it's pretty rare, yet every time a woman gets pregnant and you start going down that road, it's like, oh, it was an accident. You know, accidents happen. Not really. Not when it comes to making babies. There's ways to avoid that accident pretty easily, I gotta say. Turns out they're very effective. The election by a white boy who's younger than me, a sophomore, I'm a junior, and started with, let me explain this to you. Wait, so the election by a white boy, what does him being white have to do with that and him being younger than you? So him trying to explain the election to you, him being younger and white makes it mansplaining? So you're a racist? And an ageist? Okay. Explain to me the sexual deviancy, motivations, and curiosity of young girls in an attempt to justify excuse pedophilia. That doesn't sound like mansplaining. That just sounds like a weird, sick person. But maybe it was mundane, Matt? I bet it was mundane. In college, my friends and I ran an indie mag out of our editor's apartment, and a guy said I was using the word indie wrong. Once again, how's that mansplaining because a guy told you you're using the word indie wrong? It just sounds like his opinion on what indie means or how it should be used. I recently had a guy mansplain pregnancy to me and 3 other women, one of whom has 4 kids. Miraculously, he's still alive. Okay, that one falls under mansplaining, I imagine, if a guy's trying to explain pregnancy to a woman who has kids. I can give you that one. A pharmacist man told me I was choosing the wrong kind of painkiller for cramps, so I asked him what he takes for his. A pharmacist? Wait, so somebody who's paid to do that, who recommended something for you and knows the medicines and stuff they give to people? So if a woman had done that, would it not have been mansplaining? I mean, I go to get pills sometimes, and my pharmacist is a woman occasionally, and she explains shit to me. It's not woman-splaining. Do you not get the concept of a pharmacist? They try to help you? The difference between a screw and a nail in my own hardware store. Okay. So many men in my mentions crying about the concept of mansplaining existing. I don't want to hear apt about how emo women are ever again. I don't want to hear about how emo women are ever again. I know I said apt because she didn't spell about. She did the abbreviation ABT. I don't know why. Maybe it was just a typo because I don't know why she couldn't spell out about. Maybe it didn't fit the 140 characters, actually. How emo women are ever again. Yeah, of course, because we all know that men are much more whiny and complaining and emotional than women. Men cry so much more than women and complain and stuff. We know that as a fact. You know that whole thing about complaining about women being emotional and bitchy? You know, that kind of was going away, that stigma, but this whole post here, this whole article, is a bunch of women being whiny and bitchy and just reinforces the stereotype. You are being emo because you're being emotional about these mundane interactions you had with men in your life, and you're focusing on them, and you're tweeting about them in some kind of fake idea of solidarity to give you a sense that you're fighting this evil patriarchy. Hey. But, you're not. You're really not. You're just complaining. You're just like anyone complaining, like, God, some guy was being a dick to me the other day. And that's really as far as it goes. There's not some conspiracy theory. There's not some sexist society overworking. Men didn't get together and decide to beat women and rape women and mansplain to them. We don't have little group get-togethers on Thursdays. And if we do, I'm not invited to them. Don't get me wrong, I want to live in a world of conspiracies. I much prefer to live in a world in my mind where the Eyes Wide Shut parties happen every weekend. I just don't think they happen that way every weekend. But in my mind, I like to think that. I like to think there's a Bigfoot. I know there isn't one, but I love to believe there's one in my mind. That's how it is with you guys. You guys want to believe these things are these that are out there like, well, mansplaining is an issue because all these women explain it. But then really all of these, except for maybe two, really don't even fall under mansplaining. They just fall under somebody explaining something to you and you getting pissed off about it, which could fall under a professor, a parent, a boss, any authoritarian figure. Now, sure, these people aren't authoritarian; they just put that on you. But I don't know. It's funny how feminists just take things that are really simple and that are normal things that we all learn to get over when we're not children anymore, and they just make them epidemics. Like, oh my god, the whole world is just being taken over by this evil, dark mansplaining. It was on that day when he came and mansplained to me. I put a jihad on him. And if you don't believe me, you better kill me right now, or I'll put a jihad on you too. As quick as the infidels had come and mansplained to us, they were gone. I could hear my little female goats out screaming, being mansplained to them how to have their little goat babies. Truly horrific. Can't deal with it. I don't want to keep ranting on about this. What are you going to say? Feminism's dumb. Mansplaining's dumb. Patriarchy, all that stuff they throw out there, silly. That's why I am the patriarchy, because I'm making fun of you guys. Because you're stupid. You believe in the boogeyman. And here he is. He is real. Ha ha ha. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. Leave your opinion in the comment section. I'm very interested in hearing it. Follow me on Twitter, which I'll put in the description. I just started a Minds.com account. I'll also put that in the description. Why don't you guys go there and boost some of my posts, give me some points. Yeah. And please listen to the podcast, Patriarchal Bastards. We just uploaded a new episode, and we have some new shows premiering in the coming week. So until next time, go fuck yourselves.